Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Let us think about Thanksgiving. Most people know a warm, happy story. It shows the first Thanksgiving meal in America. In this picture, Pilgrims and Native Americans are together, sharing food. Everyone looks friendly and thankful. This story is widely known. Many families teach it to their children. It is a comforting part of American memory. But is this popular story the complete truth? Perhaps the real history is more complex. This book will explore the true story behind Thanksgiving. We will go back to its beginnings. We will examine what truly happened with the Pilgrims and the Native American people. The common story is simple. The actual history often has more parts and is not always easy to hear. The classic image of Thanksgiving shows great friendship. It presents the Pilgrims coming to a new land, grateful for help. Native Americans teach them how to grow food. Then everyone celebrates with a feast. This image is strong in our minds. It helps us feel good about the holiday. We see happy Pilgrims and Native Americans sitting together with much food. This picture feels like a real memory of America's past. However, history is rarely simple. It has many layers. The full story of Thanksgiving is more than just one happy meal. It involves different people and groups. It shows their hopes, challenges, and conflicts. It is about how people remember events. It is also about how memories change over time. This holiday holds a special meaning for people today. This book will explore these ideas. We will examine the popular myths that surround Thanksgiving. We will uncover the real history, based on facts. We will also consider what Thanksgiving means in America today. We will try to understand the many ways people see this important day. We will look at myth, memory, and the meaning of Thanksgiving. Let us start this journey of understanding. 2. The first winter. The Mayflower ship made a very long and difficult journey across the big, wild ocean. For 66 days, 102 people lived in a small, dark space below the ship's main deck. The conditions were terrible. The air was bad, and many passengers caught illnesses during the trip. Food was scarce, mostly hard biscuits and salted meat, which did not provide enough energy. The ship constantly moved on the huge waves, making most people sick. They had planned to land near the Hudson River, but strong winter storms pushed the Mayflower far north. By early November in 1620, the ship finally reached land at Cape Cod. This was a completely new and unfamiliar place to the Pilgrims, far from their original goal. They were not prepared for what awaited them. Winter was already beginning, which made their arrival especially hard. They had no proper homes or buildings ready for the cold. They also did not know how to find food or use the resources in this strange wild land. The first winter was extremely harsh and brought much suffering. Heavy snow began to fall early, covering the ground deeply and staying for many long months. The Pilgrims tried to build simple shelters from wood, but these offered very little protection from the freezing temperatures. They did not have enough warm clothes or enough food to stay strong. Weakness and hunger were constant companions. Sickness spread rapidly through the small community. Diseases like scurvy, which causes extreme weakness and pain, pneumonia, a serious lung infection, and dysentery, a severe stomach illness, took many lives. Every day was a desperate struggle for survival. The bitter cold, the lack of food, and the constant illness made life almost impossible. Sadly, many people died during these difficult months. Almost half of the 102 pilgrims who arrived on the Mayflower passed away before the spring season. 47 souls were lost to the harsh conditions. Their bodies were buried quickly, often in unmarked graves. The pilgrims faced immense sadness and difficulty. Their very survival was uncertain, a constant battle against nature and disease. They waited, hoping for warmer days and a chance to build a better future in this new world. 3. A new friendship. In the spring of 1621, after a very hard winter, the Pilgrims met the Wampanoag people. The Pilgrims had suffered greatly, many had died. The Wampanoag had also faced a terrible sickness that killed many of their own. Because of this, the Wampanoag were careful when they first saw these new, pale people who had arrived on their land. The leader of the Wampanoag was Usamekin, known to some as Massasoit. He faced many challenges for his people. A bad sickness had swept through the land, making his people weak. Also, the Wampanoag had powerful enemies, the Narragansett, who were a threat. Usamekin saw a chance to make a strong friend. He chose to make an alliance with the English settlers. This was a smart decision for both groups. The English could offer military support, which the Wampanoag needed against their rivals. In return, the Wampanoag would teach the English how to live in this new land and how to grow food. This help was important to stop the Pilgrims from starving. They made a formal agreement, a treaty, in March of that year. The Wampanoag shared many vital skills with the Pilgrims. They showed them how to prepare the soil. They taught them how to plant important crops like corn in small hills. They also explained how to use fish as fertilizer, which made the earth rich and good for growing. The Pilgrims learned to understand the local plants and the best times to grow food, knowledge they did not have before. Thanks to this valuable teaching, the Pilgrims had their first successful harvest in the autumn of 1621. They were able to grow corn, along with other foods like beans, squash, and pumpkins. This harvest was not huge, but it was enough to feed them and ensure their survival after the terrible winter. To celebrate this good fortune and their new relationship, Governor William Bradford planned a special gathering. He invited Usamekin and about 90 Wampanoag warriors to join them. This feast lasted for 3 days. During this time, Pilgrims and Wampanoag shared meals and spent time together. The Pilgrims offered foods like corn, wild fowl, and fish. The Wampanoag also brought food, contributing 5 deer they had hunted. This shared meal was more than just a party. It was a way to make their new friendship and alliance strong after the difficult journey and cold beginning in an unknown land. It marked a moment of cooperation and shared survival. 4. A story forgotten. The successful harvest feast in 1621 was not a yearly event. In fact, for many years, this meal was almost completely forgotten by the English colonists. They did not make it a regular holiday like we have today. It was just one of many gatherings that happened in the early colonial times. Over time, the relationship between the English settlers and the Native American people, like the Wampanoag, became much worse. The English began to take more land without asking. Their farm animals, such as pigs and cows, often ate the Native Americans' crops. The English also started to make Native Americans follow their laws and give up their weapons. This caused much tension and anger. A terrible war, known as the Pequot War, happened in 1637. English colonists, with the help of some other Native American tribes, attacked a Pequot village in Connecticut. On May 26, 1637, English captains ordered the village to be set on fire. Between 400 and 700 Pequot men, women, and children died in a short time. Most of the Pequot nation was destroyed. After this terrible event, the Puritan colonists declared a day of Thanksgiving. But this was a day to celebrate a war victory, not a peaceful harvest. The problems continued, leading to another big conflict called King Philip's War. This war started in 1675. Osamecan, the Wampanoag leader who had made a treaty with the Pilgrims, died in 1661. His son, Metacom, known to the English as King Philip, tried to live peacefully, but the English kept taking land and power. In 1675, English colonists hanged 3 Wampanoag men, which was a great insult. King Philip and his people then fought back against the English settlements across New England. The war lasted until 1676. King Philip was captured and killed, and his head was displayed for many years. The Wampanoag people suffered greatly. Many died, and others were enslaved or lost their homes. After these wars, the early story of the peaceful shared meal in 1621 was largely ignored. The true history of the conflicts and suffering was pushed aside for a very long time. A new holiday. 200 years passed since the first meal in 1621. It was now the 1800s. The story of the first harvest feast with the Pilgrims and Wampanoag was largely forgotten. A woman named Sarah Josepha Hale had a strong idea for a new holiday. She was a powerful writer and the editor of an important magazine called Godey's Lady's Book. Starting in the 1830s, Sarah Josepha Hale began a long campaign. She wanted to make Thanksgiving a national holiday, celebrated by everyone across the country on the same day. She wrote thousands of letters to presidents, governors, and other important leaders. Hale believed that a national Thanksgiving Day would help bring the country together. It would show that America was happy and strong. She thought it could help ease problems between the northern and southern states. For 17 years, Sarah Josepha Hale kept writing. She sent letters to presidents like Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, and James Buchanan. But these presidents did not agree with her idea. They did not make Thanksgiving a national holiday. Then the country faced a very hard time. It was the American Civil War, and people from different parts of the nation were fighting each other. Many soldiers died. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln was leading the country through this difficult period. He read Sarah Josepha Hale's requests. On October 3, 1863, President Lincoln decided to make Thanksgiving an official holiday for the whole nation. He announced that the last Thursday of November would be a national day of Thanksgiving. This timing was important. Lincoln wanted to unite the country during the war. He hoped the holiday would help Americans remember their blessings and feel connected, even with the ongoing fighting. His official announcement spoke about peace and order even when there was conflict on the battlefields. After Lincoln, every president made a Thanksgiving announcement, and the holiday became very important for the nation. It was meant to be a symbol of unity, though the real history of the first Thanksgiving was much more complex than the new holiday's simple story. 6. The holiday changes. After Thanksgiving became a national holiday, its story began to change. In books and pictures, a happy myth of the first Thanksgiving was created. Writers in the 1880s, like Jane G. Austen, wrote popular stories about pilgrims. These stories were very romantic and showed big feasts, sometimes with foods not truly available then. These tales helped shape how many Americans imagined the first Thanksgiving. The true history became much simpler in these new stories. The complex political treaty between Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people became a simple tale of friendship. The Wampanoag's knowledge was simplified. They were shown as just native peoples helping helpless Europeans. Squanto, who suffered slavery, was presented only as a kind helper. All native peoples became just Indians, a general idea without real history. Important and difficult parts of history were often forgotten. For example, the terrible Pequot War of 1637, where colonists attacked a native village, disappeared from the popular story. This day was even called a Thanksgiving by colonists. But this violent past was not taught. It was left out to make America's start seem good and peaceful. The holiday also started to change for economic reasons. In 1939, during the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt made a big decision. He changed the date of Thanksgiving. That year, the last Thursday in November was very late, close to Christmas. Business owners worried this short time would hurt their sales. So, President Roosevelt moved Thanksgiving to the second to last Thursday of November. This gave people an extra week to shop. Many people were upset, especially in Plymouth. Some states kept the old date, while others used the new one, causing much confusion. People called it Franksgiving. Retailers, however, were happy, seeing more sales. Roosevelt's decision showed Thanksgiving was becoming more than thanks. It was important for the economy, starting the Christmas shopping season. In 1941, Congress made Thanksgiving officially the fourth Thursday of November. This highlighted the holiday's strong link to buying and selling. 7. A day of sadness. Native American people often see Thanksgiving very differently from many others. For them, it is not always a happy day. Instead, it is often a day of sadness and remembrance. The holiday serves as a strong reminder of a time when European settlers came to their lands. Following this arrival, native peoples faced immense challenges. They lost much of their ancestral land, and their traditional ways of life were greatly impacted. They remember the difficult past and the profound struggles that their ancestors endured over centuries. Because of this history, many Native Americans and their allies gather in Plymouth, Massachusetts, every year since 1970. This important event is called the National Day of Mourning. It takes place on the same day as the National Thanksgiving holiday. People come together to honor their ancestors who suffered and died. They use this day to speak the truth about their history, which is often left out of popular stories. This gathering clearly shows that for many, Thanksgiving is a reminder of pain, not just a celebration. It speaks of stolen land, the suppression of native cultures, and the breaking of many promises. This day allows Native Americans to share their true feelings and historical experiences. Thanksgiving today also brings other challenges for many people. For some families, gathering together can be difficult. Family members might hold very different political views or cultural ideas. These differences can sometimes lead to arguments at the dinner table. A holiday that was created to unite people can sometimes highlight how divided a country or even a family can be. Moreover, Thanksgiving has become very closely linked to shopping. The day after Thanksgiving is famously known as Black Friday. On this day, many stores offer huge sales, and people rush out to buy a lot of items. This strong focus on buying things can change the true meaning of Thanksgiving. It shifts from being a day dedicated to gratitude to becoming the unofficial start of a busy shopping season. For instance, President Franklin D. Roosevelt once moved the date of Thanksgiving earlier in November to give stores more time to sell before Christmas. This historical event shows how much money and consumerism became a central part of the holiday. Many people now feel that this emphasis on shopping takes away from the original idea of being thankful and appreciating what one already has. The holiday, therefore, holds a complex and sometimes opposing set of meanings for different groups of people. For some, it is a time for family, food, and appreciation. But for many Native Americans, it is a painful reminder of a difficult history. And for almost everyone in modern times, it has also become a gateway to shopping and consumption. 8. A new meaning. This chapter brings together what we have learned about Thanksgiving. Many people know a happy story of pilgrims and Native Americans eating together. This story is a myth, a simplified tale. The real history is more complex and often sad. The first meal happened in 1621, but after that there was much conflict and violence. Native Americans lost their land, their traditions, and their lives in terrible wars like the Pequot War and King Philip's War. The peaceful image from the first Thanksgiving was forgotten for a long time in official stories. Later, leaders like President Abraham Lincoln made Thanksgiving a national holiday to unite the country during a difficult time. President Franklin D. Roosevelt even changed its date to help businesses sell more before Christmas, showing the holiday's connection to money. For many Native Americans today, Thanksgiving is not a happy day. It is a national day of mourning, a time to remember lost land, stolen culture, and the lasting effects of the past. It is important to tell the true story of history. When we learn the full truth, we can understand why Thanksgiving means different things to different people. It shows us the deep problems that started long ago with the arrival of the English colonists. Understanding this past helps us see the world more clearly today and understand its moral parts. It helps us understand current issues faced by Native communities. We can choose to celebrate Thanksgiving in a more honest way. This means we can still feel grateful for what we have, like food and family, in our own lives. But we also remember the difficult past and the struggles of Native American people. True gratitude should include awareness of how our lives are connected to others and to history. It asks us to think about where our blessings come from and what responsibility we have because of them. It means honoring truth alongside our thankfulness. Creating a truthful and respectful Thanksgiving tradition is a real challenge for society. It means teaching children the real history, not just the easy parts, in schools and at home. We must learn about the actual events that happened and the lasting impact on Native peoples. It means supporting Native American communities today in their efforts to keep their languages, cultures, and lands strong. It is about understanding that abundance for some often came with great loss for others. This new understanding helps us choose stories that value truth, justice, and respect for all people. We can use Thanksgiving to think deeply about our country's past and present. It can be a time to work for fairness and respect for everyone. It calls us to think about what stories we choose to tell and what values they show. We can change the meaning of this day. After learning the full story of Thanksgiving, how might you celebrate or reflect on the holiday differently this year?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.